I saw something earlier. I saw Justin and Nicole walking together, and I was mostly like looking at. I saw them from like behind. Like I was looking at them, and they were walking away from me, and they were holding hands, and it was like in a kind of a desert area with like a really. Have you ever seen like when the ground is like really cracked and like flaking because it's so dry? And as they were walking together, holding hands, there was like a crack in the ground that they were just walking, and then the crack was between them, and they kept walking. It was clear that they were walking together in a specific direction. They weren't wandering. They had a destination in sight.
I see.
And as they walked, that crack started to widen and get deeper, and they just kept walking. But they kind of had to step. They had to make room for it, because it was starting to get wider. And so as they walked, the crack got wider and wider, and they were having to. Their hands were they were getting further apart, but they were still holding each other's hands. And it became this big, deep, like canyon between them, to the point where their fingers. It was like like in a movie when someone's hanging out by the cliff. And the fingers go like this, and then suddenly it's like, okay, there's no way for them to hold on anymore, right? Because they got to that point where their fingers were just like barely, like it was at the point, and they were leaning over this kind of Grand Canyon depth of thing between, and as they were at that point, I saw the Lord's hands come down and like grab each of them. Kind of forcefully, I feel like, by like the arm or the wrist, and like pull them off the edge on both sides toward the middle.
Oh, wow.
But they didn't fall. It was like there was an invisible surface or a field or a glass or something, and they were standing in the middle of the air, basically. But with the depth, I'm envisioning like a Grand Canyon style drop.
All right.
And so he brought back together, so their fingers never left. But then the Lord, pulled them off each side. So then they were able to continue to walk, but they were walking straight down the middle. Over this huge expanse, and they kept going toward the destination. And I think that they went from holding hands to kind of arm around the shoulders on each side, and the Lord's hands he was like behind them. With his hands on the outside of their hands, and they kept going. So
that's beautiful. May the Lord bless you guys. With that, you know what it means. Everybody knows what it means, right? So